What's the difference between lust and love? We get them confused. What are your turn-ons? What are your turn-offs? Do you know what really gets you hot under the collar, baby? Are you always dating the person that frankly sucks in bed? Are you and your mate not mating anymore? Do you even know what turns you on? I have that answer. With a date of birth, I can tell you anything. We call it Secrets of Birthdays, the Love and Lust Report. Find out your birthday secrets today, available online at secretsofbirthdays.com.
Soul Garden.
Namaste and welcome to Soul Horoscopes Orbits Edition. From my webcam to yours, I'm Christopher Ray Manwateki, your astrologer and soul biographer, here to help you put the pieces of your karmic story together. And I have a really happy announcement this week, introducing Zen Shoemaker. She's got her own show called Dear Zen that airs on SG YouTube on Thursdays and on the Mothership. You can write her for practical advice at dearzen@soulgarden.tv. She's funny, she's wise, and she's a psychic coach. You can also be on her show if you want on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern, but check her out at the Mothership and check her out at soulmart.me. We love Zen. She's fabulous. Now, moving into the sun, we're wrapping up the sun in Libra. We're going to go from step 27 to step 29 this week, and then we dive fast into Scorpio with our first breakdown by Sunday. It's going to affect emotional relationships and boundaries, and we have a quantum shift coming on November 3rd. More on that later. The moon begins this week in stable Taurus, then shifts into jumpy Gemini, and then it has a little turbulence as it moves into Cancer because we hop over Black Lilith and Jupiter, but we do end the week in lovely Leo. The moon signs most affected are Taurus moons, Gemini moons, Cancer moons, and Leo moons, and the moons that might go into the dark side are Scorpios, Sag moons, Capricorns, and Aquarius moons. Now, looking at our orbits, man. The moon was in the root chakra, remember, in Aries for that big full moon, and this week it moves through the solar plexus all the way up to the heart. So a lot of digestion issues for a lot of people on Earth. The other planet I want to point out is the Earth itself, which is in the root chakra. Now the Earth is what we are manifesting now. So we've been manifesting a new ego as the sun's been in Libra. But as the sun moves into Scorpio, we'll be manifesting manifestation. That's because the Earth will move to its home chakra, the orange chakra, and that means manifestation will be at a pure point. So the point is we actually manifest more when the sun's in Scorpio than we do when the sun is in Taurus for that reason. Now, looking at the planets, the aspect that most affects us, I think, is this opposition. This is literally ego versus God, and it's an intense transit this week. This might be kind of looked at as the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. Literally, we are tug and pull between the needs of our ego, which is where we're most disconnected, and Neptune, which is where we can be most disconnected or connected. Neptune's just like a modem that logs into anything. So in your horoscopes, I'll be talking about how that opposition affects you. Plus, this square between Pluto and Uranus has reached a massive head. Both planets are at 9 degrees. 9 is an aggressive degree. After all, it's trying to get to 10, right? And this is a fear coming up in your life, probably a long-running fear, and I'll be talking about this fear as well upstairs in your horoscope. And getting a closer look at some planets. Like I said, the moon this week, when it zips through jumpy Gemini, then moves into Cancer and will, boom, bounce off of Black Lilith and Jupiter. That's going to be an emotional kind of moment, if you say, and we'll talk about that on your horoscope as well. So let's get right to it. Let's take the ascension elevator up. Let's go to the 33rd floor at 33,000 feet and get a bird's eye view of you.
Folks, this is your captain speaking. We realize you have a choice in the astrologers you choose to fly with, and we'd just like to thank you for flying with Christopher Witecki.
Hello, Your Honor, and Libra Risings, and welcome to 33,000 feet for a bird's eye view of you. Well, it's your birthday period. I don't know if you're feeling it, and for the Libra Risings, I don't know if you're feeling like a shiny penny or not, but ego has been getting a buff, if you will, and that big full moon was in opposition between marriage, partnership, and, of course, your own ego. And now we put the finishing touches on Libra 2.0, and then at the end of the week, you're diving into soul capital, abundance, and manifestation, or money issues, to put it simply. So in the beginning, as we wrap up the sun in Libra, it's time really for you to perform and just put it on, to go out there and do your best this week. And really, you're going to see with your Sirius Joy Toy, I think, my approach of your success, and it might surprise you. But first, let's talk about some of the things I did in the open. On the one, Mars versus Neptune. For you, this is going to be kind of treacherous. Mars in Virgo is going to make you very jumpy on a level of spirituality. It's go time when it comes to inner faith. And the thing is that Martian energy in your subconscious will feel, if you're not acting on it and moving forward and doing the things that make you have faith in yourself, like doing, for me, it would mean doing my Buddhism. You need to do the things, action. Otherwise, that energy will start to build up and feel like anxiety. And literally, Mars is opposing Neptune and Pisces, and Neptune and Pisces means you are practicing self-compassion in the moment. So literally, it's like staying in spirit in the moment is the answer here. And you need to stay in spirit in the moment in order to channel what to do with that aggressive energy in the right way, instead of allowing that energy to come, falling on you like a ton of bricks. Now, the square between Pluto and Uranus in Aries, this frankly is the square between your own sense of security and your house and marriage and partnerships. And so you are innovating the way you approach marriage and partnership, and so that has its own path. At the same time, you feeling good or feeling nurtured or taking care of yourself has its own path. And the two paths should be on the same team, but they may not necessarily be working in the same stroke, and that's the square. You're going to feel that still for some time. The universe is really shaking some foundations between Uranus and Capricorn, Aries, and Capricorn. So as we step into this week, Libras, we are moving into the identity, stepping into the identity, playing the role. This is where you have willpower and your courage takes over. We have an SG Neptune to come up there by surprise. Sun in Libra, moving into Scorpio. The Sun is going to start in step 27 and end with a test of your ego. So your ego will be tested Tuesday, Wednesday, just so you know. But you want to decide and act on what your ego believes in, what your personality is, and you want to play the role and not turn back. On Wednesday, we fall down the rabbit hole of 0 degrees, and this is us shifting into Scorpio, which for you is shifting into the manifestation and abundance transit, which is what's next. And by the end of the week, at step 4, there may be a financial panic or a self-confidence panic with the Sun. Now, looking ahead in the state of manifestation or the state of Scorpio for you, it looks like there's going to be some sort of breakdown at first. So most likely a problem will lead to a solution, but unfortunately a problem is what may lead to it. So some sort of breakdown in finances, work, or your ability to manifest. At the same time, on Monday, Mercury goes retrograde, forcing you to reconsider and rethink finances and manifestation at large. So I know this doesn't feel like good news, but believe it or not, the universe does have a rainbow on the other side of this. Just hang in there, Libras. Now, in the state of Cancer, this is your objective to move forward with career and legacy. You're going to move into a very passionate point now where emotions are going to start to rule you. I call it the master shui in your decision making. So you have to be grounded with your own self-nurturing in order to not make the wrong decisions. Black Lilith says you must also go out there in the career front and play the role as if you've never had a problem. You really need to just, like a sponge, just get rid of that energy. It will only law of attract more failure, so you have to completely go out there clean. Sorry. And we just did state of Cancer. So the one thing with Black Lilith, which is really important, is that that all your responses in the workforce as well, or with the things you're doing, are karma free. In other words, the way you respond to people too, and when they say to you, you respond back making no jokes about how you can't spell, that sort of thing. That's what I wanted. So moving forward, you're going to have, with the long-running planets, you're stepping in a total passion when it comes to career. We just said that. Saturn in Scorpio is the next step. That's what we're going to go through. We have a quantum solar eclipse that's going to happen in this transit. So the universe is going to give you a dose of energy to really help you manifest. But this week, you're stepping into some sort of breakdown with finances, and you're rethinking soul capital and self-esteem altogether with Mercury retrograde. Uranus is the story of house, partnership, marriage. And in marriages and in your marriage, you are retrograding, reconsidering the actions you should take for yourself, and that's where you are. Neptune, which is opposing Mars, is saying be very compassionate to your own feelings in the moment and stay in that spirit compassionate moment. And then Pluto at 9 is moving direct, which says you are moving forward now with home family foundation, again, regardless of where marriage partnership might be with the square. Now on Sunday, action takes over. It's time to move forward. Your ego's feeling it. You might go too far. Be careful. Emotions in Taurus does make you a bit vulnerable, but it also makes you maybe daring and willing to take a risk. You might be extremely randy on Saturday night and Sunday, so be conscious and careful about where you invest yourself, because you are definitely dynamic and full of energy. Libra risings too. On Monday, that's when Mercury retrogrades, so you're going to be rethinking soul capital, how you manifest, the actions you take, what you should spend, what you should manifest. All that is in reconsideration. But you are loving and trusting your character and your strength and not re-questioning that any further. On Tuesday, the moon moves into Gemini. Actually moved in Monday, excuse me, late Monday. And so in Tuesday, it's in deep Gemini. Now that makes you, as an air sign, rethink, re-question, and that is a setup for letting your ego or strength fall. You don't want to let your ego strength fall. On Tuesday, you want to just persevere and move forward, even though you are emotionally re-questioning probably everything on that day. On Wednesday, we move down the rabbit hole. The sun is 0 degrees Scorpio. 0 means 0, and that means that we're in this no man's land between two states of awareness. The moon in Gemini makes you a bit spacey anyway and pulls you down that kind of path anyway. But you are now moving into the why am I valuable, why am I not valuable, and the very beginning of that transit is self-esteem. And so even on Wednesday, you might start having weird pockets of not feeling confident about things and then going, well, why? Why don't I feel confident? On Thursday, the moon is well into Cancer, and so now emotions will shift for you, at least out of that space and into a new one. The sun moves to 1 degree, and so now you are either feeling or not feeling the love for yourself. So where yesterday you were questioning about confidence, Thursday is a real, beta test of the confidence, and having it out of Spaceland Gemini, the moon now in Cancer means you're going to be looking at career issues. It also means you're going to emotionally process and go cross over Chiron and Black Lilith in the next 24 hours. So although you are loving or not loving or confident or not confident, as the day progresses, the moon might challenge you in career already. So you're going to get a full spread of what's going on in career and finances by the end of Thursday. Then Fridays, we're actually predicted people to be emotional. So it could happen Thursday night, it could happen Friday. But basically, you're going to discover where you don't have confidence in yourself or where finances are not where you thought they were. I think it leads to showers on Friday. The moon being ruled by Cancer and the moon, the sun being ruled by Cancer that day and the moon in Cancer that day just means we are set up to slip. So, take good care of yourself and be nice to yourself. This is a time where you want to be self-compassionate and be self-nurturing, and it's probably, again, a career thing. Then on Saturday, Jupiter rules the day, so I think sunshine comes back out. I think you feel good again. This is a day of, frankly, exploring your options when it comes to money, manifestation, or self-confidence. And the moon will, thank goddess, move out of career and then into social and friendships. So hopefully, the positive thing on Saturday would be to see someone in your social circle that you trust and let that person give you a little energy, because that's what you're going to be feeling. Get out of the career legacy, get out of that part. When it comes to understanding the month's topic, which is finances, Saturday is a day that you want to explore your options, particularly when you see this, taking a sneak peek at next week. That's because on Sunday, there could be a financial bad news or self-esteem bad news. The real hard first carpet being pulled out from under you on Sunday. So be nice to yourself, explore your options on Saturday, because you'll be thankful that you did. And really next week, as you can see, is mostly us putting and patching things together. There is a solar eclipse, like I said, on November 3rd, and that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. It'll be a huge manifestation one. All right, so now we're going to parachute down, or I like to say parachute down to the bottom. And when we get to the bottom, I will join you in Witeki Theater for the other part and the final piece of your birthday Serious Joy Toy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please put on your parachute and prepare for jump.
Na, 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 na.
It's Mercury retrograde. That means it's time for our Soulmart.me Mercury retrograde sale. Like a 1-hour reading with Christopher Witecki, normally $159, retrogrades back to $95.10. Or try a 15-minute psychic look reading with Zen Shoemaker. She retrogrades down to $45 for a 15-minute reading. Or try the Act 3 Orbits Report. And the Jupiter Gets Emotional retrogrades the same to 1111. At Soulmart.me, mind, body, and soul improvement. Hello, Your Honors, and welcome. I hope you made it safely down. We're now in Witecki Theater. This is where we watch horoscopes and do things in the garden. Now, we're doing our Serious Joy Toy, and last week I had said walk a dress rehearsal as if everything goes your way without a problem ever, right? And I just said pretend. Do it in make-believe inside yourself. This was you practicing strength. It's like, practicing walking in new shoes, basically. This week, the addendum to that is I want you to assume yes. Walk your talk and move unless they stop you. Just keep going. And that's what an Aries would do, frankly, and that's my advice, is to be kind of Aries-like in this last one and just keep walking. If they say stop, keep walking. Keep moving until someone makes you stop. And try it. I don't think it's very Libra-like, and I think it's actually what you need to score the touchdown. So that's your Serious Joy Toy. Have a good time. Don't hurt anyone. You won't. You're Libra and Libra rising. And I'll see you in 7 days with more, or I'll see you in a retrograde reading if you wanted one of those. Until then, live, love, be. The gift. Right? So it's like, even if it's something ugly, it's like, oh, thank you! Thanks! We did all the pictures for them. It's on their Facebook in 30 seconds. People are already posting and responding to you on your hip. Oh, shit!